Okay. Thank you. Jerry Fugit,
Here.
John Thompson,
Here.
Ann Warmond,
Here.
Bob Howard,
Here.
Carlos Perez,
Here.
and John Graver.
Here.
Okay, I have not heard from Floyd Sheldon. I don't know if he might be attending a little bit later. But at this point, I haven't heard from him.
Okay, thank you. We'll now do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To
to the flag
Flag.
of the United States of America
America.
and to the republic for which it stands,
Which stands
one nation, under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Thank you. I would now, you have before you the agenda for today's meeting. I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move that we adopt the agenda.
I second.
Carlos. Okay, who was seconded? Ann? Okay.
Mhm.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. You also have in your packet the minutes from our February 16th, 2021, or 2021 Zoom meeting. Would entertain a motion to accept these minutes as printed.
I move that we accept the minutes as printed.
I'll second.
Okay, Bob Howard seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We have public comments or communications. Tammy?
I have not received any public comment. We do have several folks with us today in the meeting as public attendees. So what I would ask is if you would choose the button on the bottom of your screen to raise hand if you would like to speak to the Planning Commission. Otherwise, as we get through the staff report on today's agenda, there would be opportunity to speak to the commission again at that time as well. So not seeing a hand from our attendees, I would say that we have no public communications at this time.
Do you have anything, Tammy?
Okay, did my computer freeze?
We lost your picture.
Right, I turned my video off, hoping that the screen wouldn't freeze any further. Did you hear there was, I invited public comment from our attendees today?
Yes, yes, we heard that
Yes,
part.
we heard that.
Okay. All right, so with no public comment, I didn't receive anything further.
Okay, so we also were given in the packet that we received was the industrial area rezone analysis. And hopefully you have looked at that. And then there is also information relative to some of the upgrades to the comprehensive plan. Okay, Tammy, you want to?
Yes, I went ahead and turned the video off on my computer. Sometimes my internet has some, it's kind of slow. And so I turned the video screen off so that I can share my computer screen that has the staff report and maps so we can look at it at the same time as I'm speaking. So with that, I'm not being rude. Please forgive my video camera being turned off. So if you can all hear me, I'm going to jump into the staff report. But before I start the staff report, I'd like to explain a few items. And the first thing is you might note in the staff report that the maps reflect a very small area of the industrial zone compared to what we looked at in January with the several different options. And the reason I did that is actually there's several reasons that we've narrowed this down. First, I would like to say it was a great exercise for us to look at all of those options and see what type of impacts and how big the effect is if we were to look at rezoning. And you can go further and further out and the impacts change and get bigger every time you look. With that, in 2025 is our 8-year periodic review of the comprehensive plan. During that time, we will have the most updated buildable lands report from the Thurston Regional Planning Council that's going to talk about updating population projections, how the growth has been, looking at our urban growth area to make sure it's sized appropriately. And then the full update of our comprehensive plan is the great overhaul and great view of that. So instead of trying at this point in this rezone request to look at that bigger picture and start incorporating areas of land that we don't have the detailed analysis for, then I went ahead and took the rezone request that was received and reviewed it alone and then stayed within our city limits. And that's why I'm going to jump ahead on the picture. The rezone request that we received was for these 2 parcels in our industrial area. When we were looking at all the options, we were jumping way outside our comfort zone and in the UGA, and we need to bring that back in until we have the full analysis from the Thurston Regional Planning Council. So that is why the maps we're looking at today is different than what we reviewed in January. The next thing would be there's 2 other items in this staff report that will be coming at a later meeting because I didn't have the opportunity and we didn't have the time to get the background information. And those include the actual review of our tax base, property taxes with the current state and with the possible changes to residential. Also, the impact of the change in B&O taxes that we might receive. This came up in our previous meeting regarding the commercial properties. We want to make sure that we do the full detailed analysis for what the differences would be in the impacts on the tax base and B&O taxes if we change this zoning. The third item that is in review and the analysis is being done now is the impacts to our sewer system. Our sewer system is, and our water system both, they're based on our comprehensive plan and the zoning and projections for this. When you change the zoning, it creates a whole different impact on those systems. And while you can look at maybe it's a little more water or a little less water, for our sewer system, it's a little different. It's more or less water going through the system, but it's more our sewer lines are pressurized. And so if you have a lower use and you create more density and a higher use in those lines, it creates a higher pressure in our sewer lines. And the sewer system, I'm going to talk way out of my comfort zone here, but the sewer system is divided into basins and each basin is reviewed for a certain amount of sewer usage. So what we need to do is run a detailed analysis on what it was planned for with the commercial and residential or the industrial versus residential. And then in the commercial area, we're also looking at what it was zoned for commercial, if we change it to moderate density, or if we change it to high density. And it may make a difference in our sewer system. So that detailed analysis on the pressurized system is what's going on in the background. So as we talk about these 2 rezones and we consider the possible logical boundaries and then the possible zoning, whether it be moderate density or high density, it's really going to come down, the final decision will come down to including the full impacts in regards to taxes in the tax base, and then mostly on the sewer system. So I apologize if that information is not included, but we are working on it. So with that, did you have any questions, or do you want me to jump in to the actual staff report? There's Floyd.
Sorry, a listening appointment went too long.
Well, I certainly had concerns about the two things that you mentioned, actually all three, the revenues and the infrastructure and how we're going to maintain that. And you're addressing some of it. I'll reserve my questions for later. Go ahead and make the presentation, Tammy.
Okay, thank you. So our rezone request was for 2 parcels of land located in our industrial area. The 2 parcels equal 14.89 acres. They're located on Railway Road between Middle and Canal Road. Right now they're zoned industrial, and the property owners have requested a rezone to moderate density residential. All the adjacent properties, I'm going to move my map up forward a little bit. These are the 2 parcels that requested the rezone. As you can see, the properties surrounding these parcels are all industrial. And this area right here is in our urban growth area, pre-zoned as industrial. These parcels right here are in our urban growth area. They're pre-zoned to R6. So when I was looking at the rezone request, while these 2 property owners actually had their names on the application, there was also a parcel down here that was listed on that application, but it didn't have the property owner's name on it. However, looking at logical boundaries, and again, taking into the account that I think going out into our urban growth area is coming, that review is too soon. We need to get through the buildable land study and look at possibly rezoning these if needed. At the time we do our periodic comprehensive plan review. At this time, we would be looking at the properties where they specifically asked for a rezone and then look at the logical boundary. So I have here, these properties in red are all within our city limits. They're all right now either vacant land or improved as residential uses. And the logical boundary, if we stayed within our city limits, would be this entire leg of land on Railway. There would be, I have not heard, I did do a mailing to the property owners, all of these property owners, letting them know that the Planning Commission was reviewing this today. I haven't received any information. We do have a couple members with us today, but I haven't heard anything from some of the other property owners. If for some reason there's objection to these properties on the end, I would suggest the final option for the rezone. I jumped maps here. I'm sorry if it's confusing. To exclude these parcels here and just stick with the 2 that requested the rezone. This parcel here is developed as Puget Sound Energy's electrical substation. This parcel here is developed as residential. It has a single family home. It also has a cell tower. And then this whole corner of the parcel is encumbered by flood zones. So development of this parcel is going to be just what's left here. We already have development on these 2 parcels. And then whether these are included or not, I think it would be up to you whether we should just keep the entire city limits and keep this entire road as residential, or if there's objection, we can look at just narrowing it down to these parcels.
Tammy, are you looking for feedback now, or would you rather us wait until the end of this?
Well, you know, Anne, I would be happy to take your questions now. I'm just wondering if it's something that I'm going to cover a little bit later, we can hold off. You know, I can let you know it's coming up.
I'll
But-
save my questions till later. Then you may cover it.
So that was my review on the actual logical boundaries for the possible rezone. And here's another map that shows the flood zone in these parcels. The land is mostly pasture land. There's very few trees. This site is developed as Puget Sound residential, and then, Puget Sound Energy substation. And then the other environmental constraint is the fact that the city of Yelm is known for having to go for, but any development or industrial wouldn't be able to receive their approvals. So at this time, the environmental constraints would just be on this one parcel. They were annexed into the city of Yelm in 19.
I mean, I think we're losing your voice, your audio.
Maybe we lost it totally.
Yes,
Oh.
maybe, Amy.
Well, you had to somewhat, or you wouldn't get the display on the screen.
No, you can get the display, but it's not
Oh.
transmitting anything if you have a poor
Hmm.
server.
But since, until Tammy comes back. Oh, maybe she's back.
Tammy, are you back?
We've
She's
lost her
muted.
completely. I don't have her on my screen anymore.
I don't either.
Oh, she's restarting everything.
Oh, she's put the pictures back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hear you.
Yeah, you're back.
I am so sorry. I will be holding the planning commission
You're out again, Tammy.
meetings from City Hall. From now on, I can go in and use that. Hear you. I'm not sure if you all can hear me.
In
I
and
can
out.
hear you now.
Yeah.
I can.
Try again.
I don't have a problem with rescheduling if we want to use the City Hall services server.
Right. I could always do it on Wednesday, but we've got some attendees from the community. I'd hate
Yeah.
to inconvenience them.
Yeah, and you'd have to advertise it too. Make
Yeah.
notification.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you can do it one day off.
Yep.
We could always go to the 29th.
Oh, Cody says he can come back on Wednesday. I
But
don't know
we
if
can't.
Who else is there?
Who else is out? Who else is attending that's from the community?
Do they know to hit the chat button at the bottom?
I'm sorry,
Besides
I'm just
Cody.
back. I was multitasking and had you guys off. Did Tammy pull her rural development issue here? Is she?
We lost her, Grant.
No, I know where she's at, in the middle of nowhere.
We know where she's at. We just can't find her.
Yeah.
Where were you guys at?
We were partway through the changing of the zoning on that 2 pieces of property.
Industrial,
And she
Yeah.
was she just going through the staff report?
Yes,
And give me a second here, and I might lose you here too. Hang on just a second.
Got one message there.
Debbie
have
said
two.
that she'll be back. If we reschedule.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, were you talking about moving the meeting
unless you can fill us in, Grant.
Yeah.
to Wednesday? To Wednesday?
Tammy was thinking of relocating to City Hall to use the server there since she,
Oh, that wouldn't be today.
no, not today, we realize that.
Maybe Wednesday or
Yeah.
something like that.
Actually, you can absolutely do that if you just want to continue the meeting to a date and time certain. That avoids any need to re-advertise or any of that stuff. So all we would need is a motion and a second to continue the meeting to, I assume, 4 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon.
Okay. Could I have that motion, please?
Oh,
I'd motion that we continue this meeting at 4 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon.
Have a
I
second.
second that.
And just for
Okay.
clarification, that would be March 24th at 4 p.m.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Did you get a second, Jerry?
Yes, we got a second.
Okay, you might jot it down. Tammy's not taking notes.
John Thompson,
that's Tammy.
I thought you said that Tammy was suggesting that we move City Hall. That's
Yeah,
what I was.
no, that was not the plan. Get to her house.
We already
Okay.
did that once and it was no fun.
Okay, Ann made the motion and Carlos, you made the second, I believe.
I
I
think
did.
there, Bob did.
Oh, Bob did.
I'm good, okay.
Okay, so Tammy, we made a motion to continue the meeting until 4 o'clock on the 24th of this month. And that way allow you to run the meeting from the City Hall. You hear me, Tammy?
We don't-
I've got it down.
Grant's
No,
got it, so,
Yes, I've got it. My
okay.
Okay.
apologies.
Okay.
I should have been there. I will be at City Hall on 4 PM on the 24th to continue our meeting.
Okay, okay. All in
No
favor
problem.
signify by saying aye.
Aye,
Aye. Now, we had
Okay,
the attendance. I didn't know whether for sure that they're all available at that time, but
And Tammy
Yeah.
will re-notify the mailing list via email and phone if whoever we've got who's interested, so.
And so I don't think we adjourn, we continue the meeting. So,
we just
So-
leave.
yeah, we'd leave.
we just leave. We just leave and reconvene and
Yeah,
Reconvene.
yes. Okay, so
Thank you all
I
so
will-
much and thank
we'll
you for
see
being
you
flexible.
Wednesday at 4 o'clock.
Sounds good. Thank you
Very
all.
good.
Thank you.
Okay.